Kevin Sorbo, Dr. Stripling, great to be with you here in Shiloh. Tell me, why are you here, Kevin?
Okay, I'm backtrack a little bit. Is it Shiloh or Shiloh?
Ah, that's a good question.
Because I've heard some say it's Shiloh. I've always said Shiloh more in our life, and I think you said Shiloh.
Well, I had to go back and forth. So we Americans say Shiloh, the rest of the world says Shiloh.
Yeah. So I since I'm here in Israel, picked up Shiloh.
I get it. So, I totally understand, but there's more people in America, so I'm going with that.
Okay, all right, Shiloh. All right, what are you doing here in Shiloh?
A documentary. We're doing a documentary, basically, tracing the flow and movement of the Ark of the Covenant, and it's been an amazing educational experience for me. I've been doing a number of documentaries lately, and this one really caught my eye because this is my third trip here to the Holy Land here, and it's been unbelievable. And the trip the information that I've received from Scott and from Craig and from Chris, it's been ridiculous. I need to hire you guys every time I come back because it really is. It's just an educational experience.
You've traced the Ark and the Tabernacle. What have you learned?
Well, we learned that it was here at one time. And then they got a little arrogant and had a fight with the Philistines, right? And they lost that battle, and they lost the Ark.
Yep.
And it went from there, but it's been, I call it like this, the quest. I don't know what the title eventually is going to be, but for me, this is the quest to find the Ark. I love this. I mean, look at this around here. I mean, it's been a Kodak moment everywhere you turn.
Yeah. Is it like the Bible coming to life? That's the thing that's most amazing. I found that in the first trip I came here. Was reading the Bible is one thing, but when you actually get here and you get the 3D view of this area and what's happening, it brings it more to life, no question. Yeah, my wife says that before you come to Israel, reading the Bible is like black and white, but after you come here, it's like reading in color.
I remember our church put up little signs up there. One of the things I always loved, they said, read the Bible, it'll scare the hell out of you. So I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, Scott, we were here like 3 years ago, I think.
3 or 4 years ago, right?
And you've done excavation here, and what have you found?
Well, I remember we were sitting down here, I think it was 2018, and I think millions of people have seen that video because it's still being circulated. There's a lot of interest in what's happening here because this site mattered. It mattered because God lived here for 3 centuries, and what we're finding is the evidence of the sacrificial system that existed at that time. And I think the sacrificial system matters because people had a way to reconnect vertically with God when sin had severed that relationship, and horizontally with each other. We fracture those relationships too. They could come here and find mediation and restoration. The evidence of it is overwhelming. The bone deposit, the monumental building, the storage rooms, the ceramic pomegranates, the demolished altar that we're finding, all of this is giving us a picture of how people connected with God in ancient times.
Yeah. So Kevin, you're going to be the talent, and you're going to be like the audience. You're going to take people through the experience of following the Tabernacle and the Ark. Yeah,
it's pretty much what it is. I ask the questions that I think most people probably want to know that are not as knowledgeable as these guys are, and also I'll be narrating as well. And I've been doing more of these lately, and I love it. I find it fascinating. I've always loved documentaries because my father was a school teacher and always showed us a lot of docs to his kids. And this is just an interesting road that I never thought I'd be going down doing these kind of things. Yeah. And I hope there's more down the road.
Scott, what do you want people to take from the documentary?
Well, I want people to think about the overarching message. Chris, God loves us. God has a plan for us. He wants to be in a relationship with us. And his story's been unfolding through history. And so as a historian, specifically an archaeologist, we have the opportunity to take the text of the Bible and to juxtapose it next to the archaeological data, and we find illumination there. And so I hope that those who see the documentary are going to come away knowing that they can trust the Bible and that they can trust the God of the Bible.
I look at it as like this is archaeology for dummies like me. So this has been an amazing
Well, that's what I was thinking, but I didn't want to say
it. Okay. I can make fun of myself. It's okay.
What's Archaeology 101 here in Shiloh? What do you want them to get?
Well, actually, we want them to see that what the Bible said took place in ancient times was here. The last time you and I were visiting, we had stone vessels that we were excavating, coins from the Second Temple period. Now we're deeper and we're into this First Temple period material, like the platform of the Tabernacle. So we'd like people to know that when they come to a site like this, it isn't just a bunch of rocks, but Jesus talked in Luke 19 about the rocks talking to you, and I'm hearing them. Loudly and clearly, and they're telling me that we can trust what we read in that book called the Bible and the God who's behind that book.
Yeah. And he's got 80 volunteers helping here. Most of them are like college-age students, and
it's fine to take classes of archaeology when you're in school, but this is the school right here.
Right.
This is, I mean, you want to learn something.
This is field
Get in
school.
there and do it. I mean, it was so funny. There was an acting class I had years ago, and it was you only got to work once a month, and you're paying a lot of money. You know, they're back in my 20s. And after 2 years, I told the coach, I said, "Look, I'm done." He goes, "But you're learning so much." I said, "Look, I watch a lot of NBA. I'm not getting better at basketball. I get better by doing." And I think that get the hands-on experience here, I think, is really important. Had I known this existed as a college student, I mean, this is something I would love doing in the summer doing this.
Yeah, we see a lot of the rocks, but beyond the rocks, there's a lot of stories here. Take us to some of the stories that happened right here.
Yeah, here's some names.
Some of the people. Yeah.
Joshua, Caleb, Eli, Hannah, Elkanah, Ahijah. I mean, these are people that the Bible is highlighting, and they're coming here because God's here, and they're wanting to interact with God. They're wanting to interact with each other. And maybe the classic story is Hannah and Elkanah arriving here at Shiloh, and Hannah, just a desperate woman, crying out to God. She just, from her gut, she comes into the tabernacle, and she's just spilling it out to God. She's just quivering while she's praying. And Eli sees her, the priest, and he thinks she's inebriated. And he kind of wants to rebuke her, and then he realizes, oh, it's not that. She's travailing in prayer before the Lord. She's childless, and she gets a word from the Lord, and she comes back very quickly after that with a child. She's conceived this son, and she calls him Samuel. God hears.
Yeah.
And that child is himself then going to be able to hear the voice of God, because in the tabernacle, God is speaking to Samuel, and Samuel learns to answer, "Here am I, Lord."
Yeah.
You just gave us a title for this, I think.
I think so. What's it?
Beyond the Rocks, the quest for the Ark of the Covenant.
Beyond the
I like it.
Well, that'll be great. That'll be
I'm not going to give you credit, though. I'll take it.
So it's not a story just about the rocks and the people, but it's a story for us today.
Well, the thing is, we always go then and there, and then we bring it here and now. So our interest first is, how did it accurately happen in history? And then we bring it here and now. How does it apply to us today? And I think the answer is clear, that God was faithful then and there, and that we have an accurate record of what happened, of his dealings with people, and we can trust God in the same way that Hannah and Elkanah did, we can today.
I think people should, we should, even something before they start watching, I wish there was some way to say, hey, have note paper for all the people watching this. Take notes as you go along. Stop it. Maybe back it up again, because there's just a fountain of information that is going to be coming to people out of this. And I think watching it once isn't going to do it justice. I think it's something you can watch over and over again. It's a great sermon. It's a great lesson. It's a great biblical road and journey to follow.
Yeah. It's when you hear, it does feel like the Bible does come to life.
Yeah.
Not the rocks, but you can think of the stories. You can think of the scriptures. And as you said, it's not only then, and it's here and now.
Yeah, that's right.
When is it going to come out?
Yeah.
Well, we're looking for later this year.
We hope.
In maybe late fall, early winter of 2022. For me, I'm just a fan of history, no matter what history it may be, it's American history or whatever. So it's just one more chance for me to really kind of take a peek at what the Earth was like way before I even existed here. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't set out to prove the Bible, Chris, but we just wanted to reveal what's here in the archaeological record. We have a lot of secularists who are telling people things that are not accurate. Archaeology contradicts the Bible. So we didn't do the documentary to push back. We just wanted a level playing field. We wanted to say, wait a minute, here's what we're finding. Here's what the text says. Think about it.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? They match. Okay.
Yeah. Go figure.
Well, Kevin Sorbo, Dr. Scott Stripling, great to be with you in Shiloh, and we look forward to the documentary, whatever the name may be.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.